Hey there, and welcome to Watershed, the youth ministry here at Perimeter Church. This week we're doing something called Rush, which is a production completely led by high school students for high school students. And I'm going to be able to walk you through it all from the beginning of planning all the way to post-production. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go into the hangar. So what do you do here at Perimeter?
So I'm a volunteer. I volunteer on our worship teams. I play drums on our worship teams and get to work with a lot of cool musicians there. And then I get to hang out with high school kids, with you guys. I'll work on our high school worship teams and kind of develop them or help develop them as worship leaders and lead worshipers. And also get to play with neat equipment and run front of house too.
Yeah.
Play with our tech side.
So how long have you been doing this stuff here?
We've been here almost 9 years. So from playing with the bands and playing with our audio gear and such is about 9 years almost.
That's a long time to be working for a volunteer.
Yeah, but
enjoy it.
I do. I love it. I love hanging around with you guys and we get to play with some pretty nice gears, so it doesn't hurt.
What would you say is the number one goal while you're mixing the service?
Yeah, so as front of house guys, our responsibility is to help bring what the band or worship leaders are bringing and really amplify it, but do it in a way that isn't too harsh for the audience, but also is clear to the audience. So we want to bring energy in the worship. We're just as big a part of the worship experience if we're talking about this setting as the band, the team on stage is, because if we turn down faders and the guitarist isn't out or vocals aren't out, it can ruin the experience for people in the audience. So I think our job is to take the craft that they're bringing on stage and kind of amplify it and make it as full and clear as we can for the audience.
And while we're at it, at the board here, would you mind go ahead and just show us a little bit of the board?
Yeah. This is basically a digital console. It's called a CL5, and it allows us to put a particular voice anywhere we want on these faders so that we can then change the volume of those individual faders. So if we have a vocal voice or an instrument voice or whatever we want. And because it's all digital, we can assign it in different places. So for instance, these orange lights are what we call DCAs, and that allows me to control a group of sounds. Like let's say I have a group of guitars or the whole drum section in one fader. And then if I want to, I can break down and pull up individual voices. They change to a blue, for instance, right? So if I want to change a tom or a cymbal or one of two guitars, I can adjust that individually.
So it's handy if you want to mute a whole group instead of having to mute every single.
As a matter of fact, exactly. So these are all DCAs, so I can come across here and shut everything off rather than having to go down
every
50 different channels, right? And these little hot buttons allow me to quickly scroll between groups or individual voices.
And now there's this weird little graph on the screen that can sometimes appear. What is that graph thing for? I mean, that's kind of cool with all its green.
You're talking about the EQ? Okay. So EQ.
What does EQ stand for?
So it basically stands for equalization. It stands for it affects the frequencies on each voice that you're working with. So for instance, if we have a microphone, we can dial in certain frequencies that, like a voice has certain frequencies that it can respond to. It can't go below a certain range and it can't go above a certain range. So we can take those inner frequencies and we can adjust them and pull out highs or mids or lows or crank things up if we have to.
Now, is that what that green stuff means? Is that it's
so this
out
this is a picture of the frequencies on this particular voice. So I'm going to select my channel, which is one of the handheld microphones. So it's a vocal frequency. and I'm going to affect certain things within this voice. So for instance, this low mid, which is basically right here, is telling me that at a certain frequency, in this particular case 475 hertz, and you know sound moves at certain frequencies. The faster it moves, the higher it sounds. The slower it moves, the lower it sounds.
Okay.
So this allows me to dial up or down how much of that frequency gets through.
Okay.
So if I have a vocalist that's very nasally, then I can take out certain frequencies and soften that voice so it doesn't sound as nasally as it is.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, Michael, for your time, and I really appreciate you being able to be interviewed for this.
Yep, glad to do it, James. Thanks.
On Tuesday night was the band's rehearsal. Every Tuesday, we held it in the band room, which is where I'm going now, and we would meet up there and discuss how our day-to-day lives have gone, and a bunch of random stuff. We'd discuss about anything, really. Unfortunately, what we discussed together as a group for the most part stays in rehearsals, so I didn't get any footage of that. However, I did get footage of a little bit of the rehearsal of one of the songs that they would be playing this week. Let's listen in.
The riches of your love will always be enough. Nothing compares to your embrace. Light of the world, forever reign. You are more than my words could ever say. You are Lord. All creation will proclaim you are here, in your presence I'm made whole. You are God, of all else I'm letting go. And Lord, I'm running to your arms, I'm running to your arms. The riches of your love will always be enough. Nothing compares to your embrace. Light of the world, forever
I've been playing guitar for 8 years now. I asked my parents for a guitar on my 10th birthday, and they gave it to me in November of that year, and that's how I got started with it, and I've been playing ever since. I saw a Facebook post on our youth group's page about auditions for the band, and I was interested in those, so I went to it when I was in 8th grade in the summer, and I tried out. Favorite part about Watershed and the band is probably the community that we make. It's really great friends that you get, and it's great mentorship, both from a spiritual standpoint and from musical standpoint. My favorite moment would be what we do in the summer is called Gold Rush with our youth group, and it's basically a big whole student conference that comes together every summer, and it's a really great time.
Watershed has always been proud of its student leadership, especially with the annual epic event that is Gold Rush. But now, leadership has found its way into the everyday.
Every Wednesday, students meet to create, plan, and execute ideas for these new and improved mini Gold Rushes.
Design team works to create art and displays for both on and off the stage.
Production team works to make the stage come alive with any and all forms of creative tech.
Hospitality team works to find ways to make people feel welcome as they come to Watershed.
Everyone prays together for the success of the events and works together to set up and clean up before and after it takes place.
You know about Gold Rush Servant Team. Now, we are bringing you Watershed Servant Team. We are Servant Team.
So I am here with the lighting guy, and lights are important because without lights, we're kind of in the darkness. Yeah, except for those lights. But anyway, this is Kyle here, and I have a few questions for him. So, Kyle, how did you get into lighting?
Well, about a year ago, I attended a Christmas event put on by Perimeter, and I thought, hey, that's cool. Why don't I go ahead and try and do some tech? So I spoke with the guy in charge of the volunteers for Perimeter, and he said, pick an area and we can have you do it in. And I said, sure, I want to do sound. And he said, that's cool, but we already have someone else that does it. Pick something else.
So you chose lighting, right?
And so I thought, lighting's kind of cool. Why don't we give that a shot?
So if you were to be able to like stay in, if you were given the opportunity to stay in sound, I guess you would stay in sound, right? Or do you think you would have gone into lighting?
Well, I'm already starting to learn more about sound here, so I think I might have branched out into lighting, but it definitely would have been the same caliber as I'm at now.
But right now you're the expert in lighting, right?
Yep.
So what is your favorite part about doing lighting for Watershed?
It's a lot of the people I get to work with, the band's fun to work with, but it's also knowing that my lighting is in some way or shape impacting some people's life in some time. It's a tiny thing, but it still is.
Yeah, the lighting is very important. And so what would you say is the #1 goal, like overall goal when you're lighting the stage?
Well, obviously it's so people can see what's happening, but there's another more interesting thing. We try and undermine and improve the stuff that's happening on stage. There's a saying in lighting that if you do something right, no one will know you've done anything at all. So we want to try and improve it and push along the moment that's happening on the show, but we don't want to over-dominate it.
Awesome. So while we're at the lighting board, would you mind, I guess, showing some of the cool little things that this board can do?
So one of my favorite effects is called a color chase and what's called pars. And basically all it does is it just cycles through the 3 colors we have. It's good for whenever we have very vibrant songs or up-moving songs. It's good to getting upbeat songs or stuff like that.
I need another one.
Jay is coming in here.
Okay.
With us.
Great.
And we're going to try
Are your shoes popping with the purple?
What does that mean?
That means that once we're done here,
That's pretty close.
the songs come on. Jay Howard
Making curse words.
back in.
We'd be really good like street preachers.
It's recorded right now. I prefer a community. That's good.
So this is what you meant when you said that you were spent, and now it's time to go from the bottom of the pit right to the town. Don't look back, packing my bags and giving the academy a reputation. I don't ever want to let you down. I don't ever want to leave this town. And the city never sleeps at night. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger than that. I admit I'm just the same as I was. Why don't you understand? I'll never change who I am. So this is where you fell, and I left the cell. And the path you have runs through miles of cloud and right to the town. Don't look back, turn into rags and give the commodities a range. I don't ever wanna let you down. I don't ever wanna leave this town. Because after all, and the city never sleeps at night. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger than this. I admit I'm just the same as I was. Why don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger than this. I admit I'm just the same as I was. Why don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am. This road never looks so lonely. This house doesn't burn down slowly. To ashes, to ashes. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger than that. I admit I'm just the same as I was. Why don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger than that. I admit I'm just the same as I was. Why don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am.
We new innovators have always been proud of our student leadership, especially at the annual epic event that is Gold Rush. But now, student leadership has found its way into the everyday.
Every Wednesday, students meet to create, plan, and execute their ideas for these new and improved mini gold rushes.
Design team works to create displays for both on and off the stage.
The production team uses creative ways to accomplish any and everything tech.
Hospitality team works to find different ways to make people feel welcome in Watershed.
Everyone prays together for the success of the events and works to both set up and tear down before and after the events.
You know about Gold Rush Serpentine, and now we are bringing you Watershed Serpentine.
We are Serpentine. And this is Rush. This week, expect the unexpected, where anything can happen. Where right is left, where up is down. Expectations are a funny thing. They can give us hope, something to look towards, something to help us carry on. They can also cause us anger, frustration, and disappointment. Our expectations can even cause us to treat people like circus acts, willing to perform in order to make us happy. But even then, does that really meet our expectations? Welcome to the circus of unmet expectations. unmet expectations is, it still does not quite meet our expectations, does it? Maybe we have the wrong expectations. Or maybe it does meet our expectations, but in a different, even in a better way. We just don't know it yet.
Welcome to the very first ever student-led rush. Everything that you see today, the students came up with, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. The passage I want to share with you is from Psalm 37. You might recognize a bit of it. It says, "Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and befriend faithfulness. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will act. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your justice as the noonday. Be still before the Lord. Wait patiently before him. Fret not yourself over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. Refrain from anger, forsake wrath. Fret not yourself, it tends only to evil. For the evildoer shall be cut off, but those who wait for the Lord shall inherit the land." There are just 3 things I want to point out about this song. First, notice the language. The verse does not tell us to trust the Lord with our plans. It tells us to delight our hearts in him. The problem with my life is that I idolize dance. I put it before God. But when I told myself I was dancing for his glory, I was really using what he had given me to glorify myself.
And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand. So I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the
are mine.
Video, right?
Father, we thank you that you can us, and that even when we're afraid and we don't know what to do or where our life is going to lead us and what plans we have, we know that we can trust in you. And so I pray that tonight we would place all of that trust in you. We would surrender ourselves to you and let you work in our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.
Yes, I'm ready.
Do something really
Okay.
cool and magical. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm going to touch this and
Okay.
make that move. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here
Yeah,
it
let's
goes.
do it.
Here it goes. You ready? Watch
Yeah, I'm
this.
ready.
Up.
Whoa.
Isn't that awesome? Now
Yeah,
watch. We're going to go down. Wait, halfway up.
Whoa, wait, what?
All the way back down.
That's magical. Wow, wow. And we can do that far away? Like you can unplug it and then we can
Watch
walk
this.
50 feet away and then, what, wait, what?
Wait, you
Okay,
ready? You ready?
whoa, yeah, I'm ready.
You ready?
Whoa, wow, wow. Wait,
Isn't that cool?
Let's zoom out so I can make sure I can see everything.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go again.
Whoa. How far can you go?
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here it goes.
Okay. Yeah. Whoa. Keep going. How far can it go? Let's see here. Can it
go home.
You can go home. Oh, okay. Keep moving up and down, and he's way up there on the stage. And he's still going up and down. Up and down. Okay, bye. Where did he... Michael? Where are you? Michael? He's a... Whoa. It's like... Wow. That is magical.